You're listening to Spainfully Honest, the podcast where me, Paul,
And me, Catherine, talk about what it's really like living in Spain.
each week we'll share stories, tips, and honest conversations about daily life here in Spain. The good, the bad, and everything in between.
Whether you live in Spain, or you're thinking about moving, or you just want to know a little bit more, you're in the right place.
So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's get Spainfully Honest!
Hello, and welcome to episode 44 of Spainfully Honest. And this week we're doing a Barcelona city tour. As we did our Cartagena one, got such a good reception, people wanted more of these. So this week we're jumping into Barcelona.
I mean, the difference probably between the Cartagena one and this one is the size of the city.
Yeah.
I mean, Barcelona is big.
Yeah.
And so, really, to get the best out of it, you need to use some form of transport, we think. Barcelona is very, very good at public transport. I was really impressed when I went how good the public transport was. And there is a site that you can use for any kind of transport, be it touristic or sort of everyday transport, called Hola Barcelona, which is it's a local government site for transport tickets, and it's really good. I used it when I went to stay there. Really, really good.
Oh, that's good.
But what we're saying here is, I think it's really worth going on one of the hop on. I have a very difficult day today. Hop off buses. We do the tourist buses because you do need something to get you to all different places, and that's a really good way of doing it.
I will put a link for Hola Barcelona, the website you spoke about, in the show notes. So if you're listening to this now and you're looking for it, if you go to the show notes and click on it, it should bring you directly to the website.
Yeah.
Cool. And because we don't know exactly how you'll be getting there, we decided to start our tour from the World Trade Center because it's a big, easy to spot. You don't need a translator to find it. It's next to the cruise port and it has massive car park. And at the time of the podcast, it's €29 for 24 hours, which is not cheap, but it's very secure and a great location. So that's the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
I mean, €29 for Barcelona, 24 hours is all right.
I think it's all right. Because obviously it won't cost you €29 because you're not going to be there for 24 hours. But it's, for where it is, by the time you've messed about getting to a good point to start off with, that's a good car park.
Definitely.
Yeah. So the alternative to that, if you're coming in on a cruise ship, the World Trade Center is literally on the port, so you'll see it. And it looks like a cruise ship. So you have to be a bit careful because you might think you're looking at the back end of a cruise ship, but you're not. You're actually looking at the World Trade Center. So if you do come in on one of the ships, when you see it, just decide whether you think you can walk to it easily or whether you need to get a shuttle bus. Because there is a shuttle bus. It's called the T3 port bus, and it pulls up effectively at every cruise ship. But it depends how far you are away from the World Trade Center as to whether you think you need to get on it or not. It's $4.50 return per person, but it just depends whether you think you need to use it or not. How far away when you can see the World Trade Center. It might just be a couple of stops, or it could be a lot further. So that's something to look out for. It's depending on whether you need it or not.
That's handy to know. So now you're looking for the Barcelona bus touristic. So this is the red route, and this is one of the two routes operated by Barcelona local government, and in our opinion and experience is the best option for a shorter stay in Barcelona. You can order your tickets online at barcelonabustouristic.cat, so .cat, and sometimes you can get a discount, so it's better to do that before you get there. Otherwise it's about €30 for adults, but with reductions for kids and seniors over 65. They run every 15 minutes, so you shouldn't have to wait long. And again, for that link, I will also put it in the show notes, so you should be able to click directly on it, and it will bring you directly to the website.
Yeah, so you're next to the World Trade Center. There are actually two routes with that ticket. You can get a 24-hour one or a 48-hour one. So if you're just there for one day, obviously the 24-hour one. But you can use both of the routes, the red one and the blue one.
Oh.
I did both. The red one is by far the best route. It's really good. So I definitely recommend you do that one. Depending on how long you've got at the port and how long you're staying, you could do the blue one as well. But the red one was fantastic. The blue one adds in Camp Nou.
Okay.
And really, that was the only thing I thought on the blue one that was worth going to see. Sounds
Okay.
horrible, really, that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was one thing that perhaps you're missing with the red one,
Right on.
but it adds about another. If you were going to do Camp Nou onto the route, you'd be adding about at least 2 hours, and that doesn't include how much time you spend in Camp
Yeah.
Nou. So that's something to think about. If
Yeah.
you're there for 2 days, definitely do it. Get the 48-hour ticket, and you can do both routes. Let's crack on with the tour.
So when you get on, they'll give you a city map so you can follow your route and listen to a guide in 15 languages explaining everything to you. So we're just going to talk about essential stops in our opinion because we don't know how long you've got. But you do a little bit of research before you check out the route online and see what else you fancy. Obviously go upstairs if you can. We suggest the right side is best for most of the trip. The buses also have free Wi-Fi so you can listen to us as well. When you set off, if you look to the left, you'll see the world famous Rambla. But don't worry, you're not missing it. You will stop at it for a little while.
Yeah. You carry on along, you're on the bus, and then to the right-hand side is the port. So the seat's on your right-hand side. You pass the original 1992 Olympic Village area, which was totally developed for the Olympics and effectively has created Barcelona like it is now. Before that, that area was really dodgy, but that was renovated for that. You pass a zoo, there's some parks, and you sort of get to the end and you come to the Natural Science Museum.
Oh, cool.
And again, if you've got a bit of time, you know, because you probably want at least an hour in there, it costs €6 to get in, and it is really good for kids.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got kids
Yeah.
that you can
So if you've got time, go in there. If you haven't, stay on the bus.
yeah.
And then at that point, that's where it turns and comes back towards the city.
And that brings us to La Sagrada Familia.
Yeah.
So this is, I don't like saying church. This is a church. It doesn't sound like
it's
it's yeah.
I'm not going to stake in it, really. Yeah.
I mean, in Spanish, they refer to it as a basilica.
Yeah, that sounds a bit more
It
impressive.
sounds better, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does. Yeah.
But anyway, you don't need to call it anything. You can say whatever you like. It's impressive.
It is
When
impressive.
you get there, I would say it's awe-inspiring. Like, I was just stood in front of it with my mouth open, like.
Yeah.
But do keep in mind that you will have to queue, you know, not to queue to see it on the outside. You can still just like look at it all you like.
When I went, I only saw the outside because of the time factor. Because the queue, you could see the queue was massive.
Yeah.
And obviously you're going to need at least an hour in there.
Yeah.
So and we just didn't have that amount of time.
When I went, you couldn't go inside.
Well,
So it was just from the outside.
Well, this year is really important. We talk about that in a minute, but this year is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go in now and it's well worth it. I haven't been inside, but I would have loved to go inside. I've seen pictures and it looks absolutely stunning. But queues can be about 2.5 hours minimum for this. So do keep that in mind and plan it into your day trip. And it's around €30 per ticket to get in.
This is where we have a bit of conflict.
Yeah. Paul has researched that it wasn't Gaudi's idea, but I feel the Catalan people of Barcelona will have a problem with that.
Yeah, I so worked out that he just took it over. It's somebody else's idea and he decided to finish it. But I don't think I'm right in that case.
The original architect was called, I haven't got his name here, but there was an original architect who started it, but he was basically doing one of the, you know, a neo-Gothic style, a traditional looking church, yeah. And then Gaudi, there was some conflict of interest, or they were having some issues, and he was booted off the project. And Gaudi was brought in, so the great Catalan architect, of course, was brought in a year later. So it was only a year. But then Gaudi took over and totally reshaped, redesigned and has the classic Gaudi look.
I wonder whether when he was talking about taking it over, I wonder if you told him it would take him
Well, it's like
152 years.
Yeah.
It'll take you 252 years to build it.
Poor Gaudi, though, passed away in 1926, so he didn't get to finish it. I didn't know this, he was killed by a tram.
Yeah,
I did
he's
not
not
know
done
that.
by a tram.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
Yeah.
But his plans lived on, for sure, but very slowly. In fact, back in February 20th, in 2026, the tallest spire was finally completed at a height of 172.5 meters, making it the tallest church in the world. They're hoping to completely finish the main structure in 2026 to mark the how's that word?
Centenary.
Of Gaudi's death. But the final decorative elements are likely to take another 8 years to finish. If it's completed in 2034, it will have taken an amazing 152 years to complete.
I wonder, that first architect. I bet he said, I'm doing it in 5 years.
Like, I'm done right now.
I'll have it up. I'll be up in a couple of years for you.
But they are painstakingly trying to keep it as close to Gaudi.
I mean, it is impressive. I mean, that's the thing.
Very
It is
impressive.
very impressive.
Yeah, very.
It wouldn't have been impressive for the other one.
I don't think
Not
so.
as impressive.
I don't think so.
Saying that, they could have built several since then.
Yeah.
Right, so we definitely recommend you have a look at that. If you've got the time, inside, and tell us what it's like, because we've not seen it. I've seen it on pictures.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got the time, you spend a good, probably an hour just going around the outside taking photographs. There's lovely gardens in front of it, there's cafes there and everything. When you've done that, jump back on the red route bus. Your ticket's still valid, so you just jump back up. But it's only just for 2 stops. And get off at Plaza de Catalunya. So this is really the centre of Barcelona, let's say. It's also a midpoint of the Rambla. So it's a good place to start to see the Rambla. All the main shops are in that area, so if you want to do shopping, there's all the main branded shops and obviously local Catalonian shops as well. And also, by now, if you're anything like me, you might be a little bit hungry. So I would suggest that you walk down the Rambla, and it is literally downhill, so you'll know you're going the right way. You're going back towards the sea.
If you're listening to this as you're walking down the Rambla, watch your bags and stuff.
Yeah, watch your bags.
It's a spot just for pickpockets.
Yeah, it's a touristy area, and so just be careful.
Same with everything, busy places, it just happens. So just keep an eye
So as you're walking down there, you see the shops, go shopping, there's cafes as well. You don't have anything to eat or drink because about halfway down on the right-hand side is the Mercat de la Bojeria, which is a converted market that's been turned into effectively sort of an eating venue, really. You're buying takeaway, but also little cafes and restaurants inside it, and it is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's
there as well.
colourful.
Nice.
Like the ones with that sell the sweets and the chocolates, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Photographs are fantastic.
Great atmosphere as well, isn't it? Yeah,
really good.
love it.
It's closed on Sunday, so if you go on a Sunday, you can't go in there, but that is a really good place to go. There are a lot of other restaurants, but in the actual Rambla themselves, but they tend to be sort of chains rather than because of the cost of the units, I suppose. On the back street behind, sort of off to either side, there are other restaurants. So if you wanted a meal as such, but I thought the market was fantastic. So now you're fed and watered. Go back up the Rambla and back to Plaza de Catalunya and get back on the red route bus again.
Cool.
And then that is the point where if you were staying for longer, the 2 routes meet at that point. So if you wanted to jump on the blue route to go to Camp Nou, that would be where you could do that.
Again, impressive in a totally different way. Well worth it.
But it's just time. There's literally, I think it's about 35, 40 minutes to it and back, and then there's the time in there. So like we say, it's about 3 hours that you'd need, and the tickets are from €28, but it depends what you want to do when you're there.
I was going to say, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, but I think that's just the basic walk-in, see it from upstairs and walk back out again. Whereas you can go in the dressing rooms and everything, you can kick them all with Messi and all that sort of
I wouldn't like to get too close to it. I like Real Madrid. In case that wasn't clear. Okay, so back on the bus and stay on for 4 stops. If you want to get off at Plaza de España with iconic fountains and esplanades, you can walk around here in about 30 minutes. We do see most of it from top of the bus, so it depends on how energetic you're feeling, how hot it is, I imagine, when you're there.
Yeah.
And also on the bus, they give you the history, etc. So you want to explore it yourself, or you want to kind of listen to them talking about it.
If you go in the winter, so it's dark earlier, that's a nice one to see at night because all the fountains are all lit up and the art gallery at the top is all floodlit and everything. So it's pretty impressive. But you would see that from the bus as well as having to walk around it.
It sounds lovely though. Nice tip.
What happens from there is then the bus heads up into the hills just to the side of Barcelona, which is quite unusual. The sort of hills are right in front of the sea.
Yeah.
And then that's where a lot of the Olympic arenas are, so the swimming one's there and one of the athletics ones there. and then also that's where let's get this right, the Téléphérique de Montris, that sound about right, which is the one of the two cable cars.
Oh, cool.
But this is the bigger and more frequent one that runs quite quickly.
Yeah.
The other one is really impressive. It's like something out of James Bond. You see it when you're in the port. But there's only sort of one or two carriages, so it takes a long time.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is quite quick. I think it's about 6 stops overall. You get to the station for the cable car, and I think that's worth the trip. It's not too expensive. So you see that the return trip. So obviously you have to end up back where you started from, because if you get off at the other end, you'd have to walk back. It's €19, and if you do it just one way, it's €12, but then you'd have to walk back. And it passes over a lot of the Olympic things. You can see the whole city from it, and also in the parks below it, where the stations. There's 3 stations altogether. The one that you get on, there's one in the middle, then there's one at the far end. All of those are in the park area that have cafes. So if you wanted something to eat,
Oh, very nice.
that's nice.
I'm not mad on the cable cars myself. I'm not great with heights, so.
Yeah. Well, that one, looking at it, that one it looks massive. And
Yeah.
everything. The other one looks a bit dodgy to me, and it's the oldest one.
You know, you see like a windy day, you
Yeah.
feel like you're getting tossed about,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
you? I went
Well, the
on
views,
couple-
the views.
great views. But I'm so like tense that I'm not really enjoying it. But again, I'm not great with heights. That's just me. So if you're me, back on the red bus, not on the cable car, where you got off, hopefully, and stay on down to the coast and back to the World Trade Center that we spoke about at the beginning. Where are you going? How long that has taken? Well, of course, it depends on how long you spent at each stop. It could have taken anywhere between 3 hours, or if you spread it out, it could last up to 8 hours. If you still have some time when you get back to the World Trade Center and you're very close to the bottom of La Rambla for more shopping, snacks, just wandering around. And you're also close to the touristic ferries that take you around the port area. That's more my thing. I like a boat trip.
I just thought if you've been on a cruise ship, about bothered about going down the
That's
port.
true, yeah, that's true.
But if you haven't,
Yeah.
we went on one. Me and my girls went on one. It was great, and it wasn't expensive.
Yeah.
It took, I think it was about 45 minutes, and it went all around.
Nice.
It went around the cruise port and the
Yeah.
cruise ship terminals and everything, but also right down the coast, past all the beaches and everything. So it was
Oh,
nice.
that's very
And it
nice.
wasn't expensive.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, we hope you enjoyed our
It was a bit whistle stop,
whistle stop tour of Barcelona.
but like I say, you can make it as long or as short as you want, because you do pass other things on the bus that you could get off for.
Yeah.
The buses give you great information. They give you a map, and also it's constant information on the earphones. So you literally, depending on how long you've got, you can do that. But I'd say the minimum you would need to do that, as we've just done it, would probably say 4 hours, just to be on the safe side. That would be a quick run round. A run round the what's it called? Your Seguridad de Familia.
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, a quick run round there. But it runs a little bit tight, but let's make it 5 hours.
Yeah.
But it is a great city, and that is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
If you tried to walk it, the walk from the port to that
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
is quite a way. It's quite a way even from. It's only 2 stops from the centre, but they're long stops.
Yeah.
So it'd be like probably 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah. And again, if you're going when it's really warm, you're gonna feel that walk.
Yeah. We haven't really mentioned much about different restaurants and things.
Yeah.
But there is one chain that I would like to mention, because I used it. Once I've used it once, I use it loads of times. It's an original Barcelona chain, although now it's international.
Cool.
I mean, all over the world,
Love
Dubai
that.
and everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like a chain. And I think I probably went in 3 different ones in 3 different areas of Barcelona, and it felt like somebody cared about it.
Ah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's called Brunch and Cake. And you can find them on the
Sold.
website. And it's like hand painted.
Ah.
And it's really nice. And they are dotted around. So if you put that in on Google Maps, I think there's about 6 just in the centre. But if you're anywhere near one, go and check them out.
Yeah.
'Cause
I love
I was
brunch.
really impressed with it, as far as it felt like they were owners.
Yeah.
And they were staff, they're obviously staff. I didn't realise when I went in the first one, I thought it was a privately owned thing. When I came out and then looked to put it in to give it a review, I realised it was part of the chain, but it does not feel like a chain.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I was gonna say I like brunch. I also like cake, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
there.
And nice coffee, and they did ice cream, so it was perfect for me.
Very nice. Another thing I was going to say about Barcelona, since if you're still listening to us as you're ambling about, but it's not about Barcelona, a place. It's about a time of year there. It's Sant Jordi. They celebrate Sant Jordi. It's like their version of Valentine's Day. And they basically like, it's like a connection between literature and love. And so it's all about like, there's lots of like readings and poetry readings, and you'll see like Gaudi's buildings, not La Sagrada Familia, but the other Gaudi buildings throughout Barcelona. They decorate them with roses. It's a really nice time to be there. And they'll just be like handing out roses in local places, and it's a really cool like time of year in Barcelona, yeah. But if you did like our little tour of Barcelona, we did it, I would say maybe slightly more in-depth one for Cartagena. We interviewed somebody who lives there. So he kind of gave us like, you know,
insider information. My help is more touristy than my personal.
No, it's good though. I didn't remember half those things until you start pointing now. But if you like, you want to listen to the one about Cartagena, that was episode 43. And then there's also one about Malaga as well.
That would be 46.
46, yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing one for 45, which is about living in Malaga.
Yeah.
But the 46 one will be the touristy day trip to Malaga.
Yeah, cool.
Malaga's smaller again. Well, Malaga is more like Cartagena. Yeah. So that one we'll explain when you listen to it.
Yeah. But for now, I hope you enjoyed that episode about Barcelona.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your holiday and your trips. Bye.